Hello, everybody. So this is going to be my official Joyce versus Zhang Part 2 prediction. The rematch. Revenge or repeat. I tried doing this video with some film, but it got copyrighted, unfortunately, so I figured I'd just, come out in the garage and have a smoke and talk about it and give you my pick. So I kind of went over it in the little like preempt video that I always do for this halfway big fight. But, there's a lot of similarities between these guys. And I'm not going to go through the tail of the tape. They're basically the same with height and reach and all that shit. The one thing I will say with regards to the tail of the tape, the one thing that does stand out is neither one of them are spring chickens. They're both older. Zhang's 39, so he'll be 40 soon. And this fight is actually a few days after Joyce's 38th birthday. So they're both old, man. They're both, or 37th or 38th, late 30s. Neither one of them are spring chickens. And this is a fight where I like both guys. It's not like a Loma Haney or a Floyd Pacquiao or something like that where I have one guy I want to see get his ass beat. And one guy, where I'm a huge fan of him, one guy I rather dislike. I like both of these guys, man. I've been a Zhang fan for quite a number of years at this point. I always thought he had potential, and it was good to see him kind of rekindle some of that in his later boxing years. First with the Filip Hrgovic fight, which he should have won, and then with this Joyce fight, right? And same thing with Joyce. I like Joyce. I think, prior to this for the first Zhang fight, most people had him in the top 5 at heavyweight, or at least in the top 5 or right outside the top 5. And rightfully so, man. The guy had a nice little run. He beat some older contenders like Takam and Christian Hammer and all that, but he beat the two that really put him up there was beating undefeated Daniel Dubois, which Usyk will be facing here tomorrow. I'm recording this before the Usyk-Dubois fight, as long as I'm talking heavyweights. But first he took Daniel Dubois' O, then he beat Joseph Parker in a good fight and knocked him out, right? Knocked them both out. And Joyce, Joyce is a classy dude. He's tough. He fights. He hits hard, and he fights everybody. Joyce isn't a coward. You know what I'm saying? He's not a ducker. He's not a quack artist like a lot of these fighters these days are. So I respect Joyce. I think he's a tough bastard. He's probably one of, if not my favorite fighter from the UK right now, to be honest with you. I really do appreciate Joyce. And the dude does want to fight the big names. He's not ducking anybody. He's out there to fight, win, lose, or draw. And I respect that. I always respect that in fighters. Even if you're not some ATG all-time great, as long as you're willing to put yourself out there and give yourself a chance, I respect that. That's the reason I always praised Josecito Lopez. He wasn't some world beater, but he fought everybody, and he was always in great fights and fun fights. That's why I always liked Josecito back in the day. So, 5-10 years ago. But on to the fight, man. As I said before, I see this going one of two ways. Either it's going to go similarly to the first fight, okay? Or, and the odds are almost dead even, they have Joyce a slight favorite. I think he's like minus 120 or 130. Doesn't matter. Very slight favorite, which is saying something considering the way that Zhang took him apart in the first fight, that he's still the favorite, even if it's by a counter. So that's telling you something. So there's two ways this is going to go. Either it's going to go similarly to the first fight. Joyce isn't going to be able to get out of the way of the left hand. Because in that first fight, Zhang couldn't miss with the straight left. And also the hand speed was killing Joe Joyce. Because Joe Joyce, he's tough, he's big, he's a big dude, but he's not the fastest guy in the world, you know. And the hand speed and the power and the size and aggression of Zilly Zhang, I call him Chinese Luca Brasi. I think that's a fitting nickname. A big, you know, anyways, that's what I call him. So Chinese Luca Brasi fucked him up with the hand speed, the power, the size, the aggression, the etc. And he couldn't miss with the left because Joe Joyce didn't move his head. So unless Joyce fixes those mistakes, I see it playing similarly to the first fight. I don't think it'd end in the 6th round, but not long after that, like 8 or 9 or something. The other way this fight goes is if Joe Joyce is able to avoid some of that early barrage from Zhang. He's able to roll with some of the left hands and avoid some of them completely. Maybe let Zhang gas out a little bit and then put it on Zhang in the second half of the fight, okay? And my one issue with this fight, and I've said this from Jump Street, is that it's in England again. Why would Zhang have to go back to England after he went there for the first fight, beat him, and now you're making him come back for the rematch? To me, that smells fishy, like Madonna's vagina. Okay, it smells fishy like Lindsay Lohan's vagina. All right, so I don't like the fact that it's in England. I don't. I think they should have put that in a neutral location, especially after Zhang already beat him in his backyard. That's the one real gripe I have with this fight. I don't like that. So if it goes to the cards and it's 7-5 Zhang, 8-4 Zhang, it's probably not, the decision's probably not going to go his way. So keep that in mind. However, I don't think it's going to the cards. I think somebody's going to go one way or another. I expect this to be a much more violent and competitive fight than the first one. I do think Joyce will make some small adjustments to make himself a little bit more successful in this fight. I do. I think he's going to come out with a different game plan. He'll be able to, now he's not going to be able to avoid everything, but he'll be able to avoid a lot of the heat that Zhang was throwing at him in the first fight, okay? And I do think Joyce will get his second wind in the back end of this fight. However, I still think that Zhang is going to come out, and Zhang needs to do what he did in the first fight. Just come out, guns blazing, lace him up, start lacing him up, don't let Joe Joyce dictate the pace. Smith, don't show him because Joyce, here's the thing, because Joe Joyce is used to being the bigger man. The last time, he fought somebody his own size, or bigger than him maybe even, right, in Zhang. Right around the same size, though, and he couldn't bully him like he could with Joseph Parker and some of the guys and Christian Hammer and some of the guys that were smaller than him. So, I think Zhang needs to come out and start fast again like he did in the first fight. I think he needs to hit Joe Joyce with combinations and make him hurt early. Because that might take Joe Joyce's momentum away, a little bit of his momentum and a little bit of his power punching away in the back end of this fight, okay? So, it's a coin flip of a fight. It is. And another thing Joe Joyce needs to do before I give you my pick, go to the body. Zhang's known for not having the greatest gas tank in the world, okay? And I think if the doctor hadn't stopped that fight when he did, Joyce might have had a little bit more success later on in that fight, okay? So Joyce needs to go to the body, establish the pace, and not let Zhang bully him in there. Okay, so, and Zhang needs to come out fast, start hitting him, making him hurt early. Don't gas yourself out. Don't throw all your energy to the wind, but still come out with a fast pace and start putting some damage on Joe Joyce. Attack the eye again. You know, this is a 50-50 fight, man, but I got Zhang, bro. I got Zhang. I just believe that Joyce, I don't think he's going to be able to get out of the way of the left hand, man. And even though Joyce is and I appreciate and respect Joe Joyce, I just think that Zhang's got the equalizer in the left hand, bro. I think Joyce doesn't have a lot of head movement, and I don't think he's going to be able to fix that within a 4 or 5 month stretch or 6 month stretch, whatever it was. They fought in April, so yeah, 5 month stretch. I don't think he's going to be able to fix that. So I think Zhang's going to come out. It's going to play out similarly to the first fight, except Zhang will gas a little bit and Joe Joyce will have some good moments towards the end of this fight. But I think he'll be too far gone at that point, and Zhang's going to get him out there late this time. It'll be more competitive, just like Usyk Joshua 2 was, but ultimately, I still think Zhang's going to tag him a bunch with the left hand. It's still going to make Joyce more worse for wear, and I still think he's going to get stopped late in this fight. But it's a tough call, man. Would I be surprised if Joyce stopped Zhang late after Zhang gasses out a little bit, maybe? Or Joyce, you know, say it's 6 rounds apiece and Joyce wins a close decision in England? No, that's not going to shock me. It's a pick'em fight. But for my official prediction, I'm going to say Zhang TKOs him again in the 10th in a grueling, tough, much more competitive rematch than the first fight was. So that's my 2 cents anyways, guys. Coin flip of a fight. If Joyce wins it, hats off to him. But I'm going with Zhang. I'm going with Chinese Luca Brasi. With that said, hit the fucking like, subscribe to the fucking channel. Go eat a fucking cheeseburger, smoke a fucking doobie, drink a fucking beer, and have a nice time doing it. Have a good one, guys. Take care. God bless.